what's going on? Miguel, the host of Life Full Circle Radio, and welcome to the show. So today, we got quite a few things actually. We're going to try to cram into the show today. We'll see if we get it all in. Trump being dead was trending last weekend on across all social media. I wasn't really. And we'll talk about that because I was just like, yeah, right. But, you know, it's been a lot of conversation about how healthy or unhealthy he looks. We'll see. We'll discuss that a little bit. The school shooter in Minnesota, once again, another tragic situation at the school. But the GOP tried to spin it because the person was trans. And so we'll discuss that. It's just, I'm trying to think, it was one of them super villains was on the news, was on the shows, Round Robin Sunday morning. Gavin Newsom, him and his social media team are looking to get some awards this year. But the big award is he a viable candidate for president in 2028? I even saw something about Eric Trump Jr. talking about he running, and I want y'all to not laugh that off like it's a joke because none of this stuff is funny. Cracker Barrel logo gate. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about how they flipped the script that quickly just because folks flipped it. And I have I'm going to talk a little bit about this in research this week about black folks and, you know, and what it is that we own and don't own. And it's because this was a perfect example of that audience that supports Cracker Barrel. They made a stand and they flipped it. And here we are. Supreme. Superman to me was whack. I took one of my girls to go see it, and we're going to talk about that as well because DC to me don't seem to get it right. Check us out all on the social medias. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube and Threads, as well as Twitch. We're up there as well. Super producer.
What's up, everybody? How are you?
Like and subscribe to this channel. Ding. Right.
Yes. Like and subscribe every Monday. We did take a month off. We've been gone for about a month. There's been a lot going on.
Man.
It's been a month. Yeah, it's been a month. I think our last video was... Wow, I can't even scroll back how long ago that our last video was. But
anyway, it may have been a month. So a lot going on, but the girls are there's no basketball going on for now. At least it was, but no, it's flag football. So, but flag football is what I love about flag football season is that it's super short. It's already over. Like Layla was playing flag this year. Well, at least middle school flag is over. And there's a cute, if you go and check out Layla on, and I'm talking to you like it's just you and I talking. Go check out Layla's social media or Tracy's because there was a cool clip that one of our cousins, and she's pretty dope. We're going to be working with her again. She did a nice little, cool little clip. I could pull it up if I wanted to.
I saw the reel. The reel.
You saw the reel? The football reel?
Yes, I saw the Puma. Yeah.
That's pretty cool, right? Yeah.
Very nicely done. I was like, oh, they look like WNBA stars. I can't wait till we're famous.
Well, you're talking about the basketball. I'm talking about the football. But anyway, we'll pull it up for the show anyway. All right, so let's jump into this thing. Lot going on. I know there's a lot we wanted to talk about today, and we said we wanted to jump into some of the stuff. So all over social media, all over social media last weekend, there was this trend about Trump being dead. I woke up Saturday morning, and I don't know what the hashtag was, but it was all of a sudden, well, nobody has seen him for 2 or 3 days, and his social media has been quiet. And all of that. And so what was your take Saturday morning when you woke up and they were talking about Donald Trump was dead? What was your take?
You know exactly what my take was because you called me to ask me about. So I was like, what's trending now? What happened? What's going on? He's dead. He done died. Okay. Now, we all have had our issues. We all have our issues with Trump. But I don't think anybody really wishes death upon him. But we all are kind of like, chicken bones are sharp when you're chewing chicken, things can happen, car accidents and bridges and poison from your wife. Anything can happen. That's
McDonald's all up, burgers and
McDonald's burgers don't go down. But he really has not been visible. And I had to go back on social media to see when the last time he's posted. And it's been a few days. And we all know he's a prolific poster. He's always yelling at us in all caps for no reason.
My thing about Donald Trump is that everybody always talk about how he is extremely calculating, and he's got a bunch of super villains that are around him that are helping him to. I'm telling you, man, they're just,
it's like the anti-Justice League.
Stephen Miller and Right, Pete Hegseth. What was it? I saw some nicknames, Whiskey Pete or Whiskey Pete Hegseth, and just about him all his drinking
He has
habits
a
and all
lot
that.
of nicknames,
Yeah.
and they all involve liquor. So between him, and Christy Nome cosplaying her whole thing. I mean, ignorant Barbie, her. And the person that has turned against them, which I thought never would happen, is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She got a bunch of beefs with them, and they ignore her. And now that she's being ignored by them,
They've
she's
all been
being ignored by
used. They've
everybody.
all been used. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Candace Owens, the guy, the black dude who called him daddy that's running for governor in Florida. What's his name? Donald, Donald somebody. You know what I'm talking about. The black dude with the beard. Byron Donald.
Byron Donaldson. I was like, what?
Byron Donald. It's not son. Son isn't just Byron. Anyway, that
who cares? Stephen Fetchit, who lives here in Florida, who can't help but get on his knees for Trump next to dolphin teeth. It's all bad.
But here's the thing: we make. Say again.
He's caping for everything. Everything Trump he caped for. It's like he's caping for Cracker Barrel now.
Right. Oh my God. Yes, he did. Because he went out there talking about he was a server at Cracker Barrel, and we'll get into Cracker Barrel.
Wife to God in the parking lot. Y'all, this is not me putting on laughter that I'm just laughing because I'm trying to keep the show funny. No, I'm laughing because everything that has happened lately is just hysterically stupid. We don't need to know about your coming to Jesus moment in the Cracker Barrel parking lot. Also, how did that happen, sir? How?
Come on, man. We know why that is. All you got to do is talk about Jesus. And the MAGA folks will say, he's one of us. He's one of us.
Is he married to a white woman too?
Huh?
Is he married to a white woman too?
I don't know, and I do not care. And if he is, that is what it is. Marry, love who you love. But this clown, this clown and in his here. Thank you, Cracker Barrel. Thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you, Cracker Barrel. Thank you, Donald Trump.
I have a valid question. Why aren't any Black Republicans married to other Black Republicans? Have you noticed that?
I'm not a Black Republican. You are. Y'all don't have your little secret group chat telling everybody about why? I don't know.
I got put out a little while ago.
They put you out the group chat?
That's fine. I got put out the group chat.
Kids, stop. They put you out the group chat.
I don't think I could go to the local meeting. So I'm not in the Black Republican group chat, but I noticed that in that group chat and amongst a lot of Republicans, including Black women who are Black Republicans and Black men who are Black Republicans, none of them are married to Black people. They're all married to white people, which I think is really, I guess it's not odd, but when I noticed that coincidence, I'm like, why is that? Why couldn't y'all, there's no Black Republican planet? Like, remember Black Planet?
Once again, that's your world. That's your world. Are you still claiming that world? Just honest question. Are you still claiming that world?
I am still a Black conservative. I talk about it on my YouTube channel all the time that I'm still a Black conservative. And now people in my comments.
What does that mean?
So, and that's the problem. A lot of people on my channel are now like, can you explain that, please? Because we don't understand. And I've been putting off doing a video.
New topic. Kia's going to explain to us what being a Black conservative in 2025, what does that mean?
Okay, so really quick, before we dive into our actual show, let me work this in my brain. So what I believe as a Black conservative is there's certain thing that this administration is doing that I do agree with. I have always thought that people should not be surviving off Section 8. It shouldn't be something where you get on Section 8 and now they on it for 15, 20 years. I believe that should be a 2-year help program. The same thing with the welfare program. There's multiple people being arrested for welfare, Bruce. I'm definitely against that. When it comes to immigration, I'm all for people being deported who are here illegally, who are doing illegal stuff. Like if you're here and you're going through your not ICE, you're going through your immigration status stuff, or you're here not legally, but you're doing the good stuff, and you're doing what you're supposed to do, we should be helping them get their status. But if you're here legally committing crimes, you should be on the first thing smoking back to your country. But I feel like that's a lot of people.
That's not who they're. But go ahead. That's not who they're snatching up mostly. At least not what we've seen on television.
And that's not who they're snatching up now. We look back from years ago, and again, years ago, we're looking back like 9 or 10 years ago. That's what the Republicans were pushing for with immigration, like fixing the immigration system so we don't have people flooding in and we don't have people we don't want flooding in who are going to come here and commit crimes. And originally, it wasn't about Mexican Americans. It originally was about Italian and Irish Americans. This was years ago, of course, who were coming here and doing crime in New York. The same thing with Jewish families. They didn't want them here because they were coming here and they were doing illegal things in certain cities, and they wanted that to stop. It was never really about Mexicans coming across the border.
Can we have a real conversation about that? Okay, so when I hear conservatives and people talk about clean up the crime, oh, why do people kill each other, and why is there so much crime in the hood? And so if you go back to a lot of their ancestors, as you mentioned, Irish, Italian. Russian. When they first get here, the opportunities were limited. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's, they say that's the reason why a lot of folks, the Irish folks, went into.
And they dealt with racism, especially the Irish community when they got here. They called them every name but a child of God when they got here.
So that's why a lot of them supposedly went into law enforcement and went into firefighting and things in the public sector. Right. That was part of their way of giving back to the community here in America. And so then they flip, and all of a sudden, you were Italian and you were Russian and then all of a sudden everybody became white, and they said, "Come, you can assimilate. Come over here with us." So fast forward, we know now we see the situation, for example, in DC, or in Chicago, or in Memphis, or anywhere that there's blight. We went to Memphis during the summer for a basketball tournament, and I promise you, when I drove into Memphis, Tennessee, I felt like I drove into 1965. It really looked that bad. Warehouses to the right of us that were blighted. Looks like they abandoned those warehouses many, many, many years ago. We're driving in, and looks like we were in a poor black, I don't know what highway it is. People who are watching the show or watching this can tell us if I'm coming from Atlanta driving into Memphis, what that highway was. I don't remember. But what I do remember is that it was a relative food desert. It wasn't any great food where we were. And so my point is, when you have these situations where you don't have jobs, you don't have opportunities, people are going to have to survive. They got to eat somehow. And that's where crime festers, right? If you really wanted to stop, drugs and fentanyl and cocaine and things of that nature, these National Guards are not going into suburbia. They're not coming into communities where you live or where I live, right? They are putting on this show in DC around the museums, the show, and they're walking around and they're cleaning up the homeless. But then if they're going into any hoods in DC, and if they go in the Southeast, I've talked to some of my family in DC and in the area, and they said there is some things that need to be cleaned up. But I don't care where you are. If there's a population of people, there will be crime, or you're going to be living in a police state.
Are dealing with a theft ring right now, like an organized theft ring in our city, where my city, little tiny Mineola, Claremont, Florida, is dealing with an organized theft ring where they are hitting everybody at one time at 5:45 in the morning. The reason why we all know it's 5:45 in the morning is because my gym, which is like a burn boot camp where I go all the time, everybody's car was broken into. They did it at the same exact time. They also broke into cars in front of all the gyms and the hospital because they knew people, when they go in that early in the morning, everybody is in the gym. And they're in the gym at that time or in there, whatever they're going to be for at least 15 to 20 minutes. And they've broken everything. So there's crime everywhere.
And those situations are what are known as soft targets. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Are we a soft target?
Absolutely. Okay. Unfortunately, just like Minnesota and the school shooting is a soft target, because those are not the areas where that type of crime is expected.
That's true.
So the cops are not patrolling. They're not actively in mass in those areas. No, real criminals smart criminals are not going to commit crime where all the criminals are. They're going to go in places where there's going to be less police presence, right? When we look at the situation in Minnesota, unfortunately, in a lot of these school shootings, there's a lot of these school shootings, they don't happen, huh?
Do you want me to go into that story?
Sure, go ahead, pull it up. Well, a lot of these school shootings, they don't happen at Cardozo High School in DC. They don't happen at places where there are metal detectors. I had a conversation with someone, and they were saying to me, they said, Miguel, what? It would be so easy for them to put metal detectors at these schools to make sure that they're not bringing firearms into those type of schools. For one, these private schools, they don't want metal detectors at their school because it's not an aesthetic that they want to become the norm at these private schools, right? They don't want metal detectors at a Catholic school, right? Secondly, when someone is coming to do a school shooting, those metal detectors is not going to stop them from pulling the trigger. And so whether or not those private schools have, now what it may set off is an alarm that get cops there maybe that much quicker, but unless there is an armed security person at that gate, that's not going to stop that shooter from doing anything.
So let me read the story, and then I'll go into my own personal experience of what's going on at the kids' Christian school right now. So police have identified the suspect, who they say opened fire outside of a church at a Catholic school in Minneapolis, killing 2 children and injuring 18 others, as 23-year-old Robin Westman. An 8-year-old boy and 10-year-old girl were shot and killed when the gunman fired through the windows of the church at the Annunciation Catholic School on Wednesday morning. The shooter died at the scene from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, Minneapolis police said. Department of Homeland Security Secretary, I'm not reading none she gotta say. No, she's still talking. Okay. Driver's license for information reviewed by ABC News describes Westman as a female born on July 17, 2002. A name change application for a minor born of the same date was approved by a district court in Minnesota in 2020, changing the name from Robert Westman to Robin Westman, explaining the minor child identifies as female and wants her name to be changed. So I could go in through more stuff, but really what's happening is they're discovering this person is trans, and only this person is trans, but this person is deeply disturbed. They found racist, anti-Semitic, anti-Trump. This person hated everybody and had different moments of calling of kind of wanting help from the parents. And the manifesto was begging his parents for help, and that he didn't know that he was begging for help from his parents, but he wasn't getting it. His parents have now lawyered up, because even though this person is 23, they found information going back when he was a minor. And they want to know to the parents, like, did you know about this? And you guys are lawyering up, which makes them look guilty, that they knew something was wrong and didn't report it to the authorities. Maybe not that he was going to shoot up the school, but that something was wrong and that was amiss, and they didn't try to get help or didn't try to alert anybody.
And what's interesting, and we're going to come directly back to this, but I read a story recently.
And the mother worked at the church. That's a big thing. The mother actually worked at this church.
Wow. Didn't know that part.
Yeah.
So then you have the stories where you've got law enforcement in certain urban areas where they're now arresting parents for their children getting into fights. Now, I want you to juxtapose those two scenarios. I'm at the bus stop, and I'm coming home from school. My grandmother, who raised me, is at the house, and I get into a fist fight, which happened a couple of times coming home from school, elementary school, middle school. Sure, it happened. Are you going to go to my grandmother, my 75-year-old grandmother's house, and say, we're arresting you because your kid got in a fight down at the bus stop? Right? So folks, it's really that ridiculous. But on the flip side, you have this situation where there were signs that this person was mentally disturbed.
Yes.
The parents knew that this person had issues. But did anybody go to their house and want to accost them, interview them, arrest them? Or even to this day, have they been arrested when this person murdered several people, including children, at the school?
And that's the same thing that happened with the parents of the school shooter here in Florida. I need to pull up their names.
Is this the way that they are?
Yes,
the way that
Crumbly, James and Jennifer Crumbly, they're serving time, 10 to 15 years. Because their son actually went to them directly and said, something is wrong with me. I don't feel good. Something is wrong inside. And they were like, oh, you're fine. Let's go to the shooting range. Let me get you a gun. But we'll go shooting. And he was constantly telling his parents something was wrong. The school was telling the parents. The school asked them to take him home. They were like, no, he's fine. It's fine. And he shut the school 20 minutes after the parents left. And they are doing 10 to 15 years for involuntary manslaughter. And I feel like those are parents who deserve to be there. And there are other, do I agree with parents who get into fights? Parents whose kids get into fights at school should be arrested? Depends on the scenario. Perfect example. If your kid is consistently getting in fights and the school has told you, yo, before you bring him back here or her back here, we need to see a list of these things done to make sure that other students are safe. And if you're pushing back saying, no, my kid is fine, y'all should handle it. Or why are you guys making a big deal out of nothing? Kids get into fight. And then a kid is injured, then I feel like the parents are responsible. If the school's doing what they're supposed to be doing, reaching out to you, trying to get involved, and you don't do anything, that's one thing. But in your scenario, you get in one fight at the bus stop and they're trying to arrest your grandmother. That doesn't make any sense. Does that make sense now?
No, it makes perfect sense. But the challenge is that when they put these laws in the books, it opens up Pandora's box for people to interpret them and apply those laws any way that they want.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
so if there's a situation where there's been notes sent home, this kid has been a constant problem, and you've done your due diligence to put that kid in a position that now these parents need to take some action. What should be included in that is that, does this kid need to be transferred to a different type of school?
Yeah.
Because those scenarios are part of it. But the challenge you have now in DC, for example, which, people who don't quite understand how this works, there's nowhere like Washington, DC in America, whereas the federal government has total unchecked control over the National Guard. What they're doing, they can do. And the Congress has to extend it, I think, to a 30-day in 30-day terms. They can't just go to Chicago, Illinois and say, or he can't even go across DC city lines and go to PG County and do it, because Wes Moore has already told him, no, I'm not activating my National Guard to assist you in this. Now, whether or not he can federalize his National Guard and move them across state lines, that's something too that I'm not quite sure of. But go ahead, jump in.
Really quick to bring it back to the whole school shooting thing. I said I was going to tell my own personal story. So when my kids go to a Christian private school for safety reasons. When school first started, there is a kid now, and I say he's a kid because he looks, maybe he's might in his early 20s, mid 20s. He is full armed security guard with a bulletproof vest and a gun. And all of his parents were like, at the beginning of the school year, which wasn't that long ago, we're like, y'all are doing the most. We really I don't think we really need this. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then this happens. Now every parent is like, thank God that this guy is here. And this guy is like active on campus. He's high-fiving kids. He's walking through the buildings. He's checking on things. He's making sure things are fine. He's making sure doors are locked. He's talking to parents. He's an active member of the school now. And the kids recently had family chapel because the kids at the Annunciation Catholic School were in chapel when the shooting happened. So my kids had chapel on Thursday. Last year during family chapel, maybe 10 parents came because people got to work, maybe 10 parents out of all these students. This year, every single child had both parents there who could come, at least a mom and a grandparent for every single child. It was packed, and it was never been packed like this the last year. So, it's just a different situation. And the other thing I wanted to bring up is Trump is so worried about the Democratic cities, but he's completely ignoring the red cities and red states that have seriously violent like crime rates that are higher than these other Democratic cities. Like if you watch First 48, then a lot of these red states are always on First 48. Tulsa, Oklahoma is always on First 48. Alabama, Mississippi, always on First 48. Louisiana, red state, always on first. Like these people, Louisiana has a massive like a violent rate. Miami's a Republican city. It's not as people think it's Democratic. It's not, and it has a high crime rate.
Absolutely.
But are we going there?
Of course not. Because this is not about control. Here's the other thing we've talked about this on the show as well. This is still, and will always, I'll believe it to be, is a real estate play. Absolutely is a real estate play. If they can run, right now, DC real estate is ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
And the other part that they're not talking about is RFK Stadium, which is where the Washington Redskins played before they were the Washington Commanders.
Horrible name.
Okay. Which he's trying to make them return that name back to the franchise. The FedEx Field, which is where they've played for the last 25 to 30 years, is in Maryland. They are building a new stadium, and guess where they're building a new stadium?
The middle of DC.
In Southwest DC, near where the old RFK Stadium is. So all of this about cleaning up the city is about the soccer is coming there next year, which is going to be a huge show in the city. DC is one of the cities where the soccer matches, World Cup will be. And they're building this new football stadium.
And by the way, the World Cup doesn't even really want to come here anymore because a lot of the other countries are kind of like, we don't want to go there. Like, why are we? They don't like us, so why are we going there? Most of us are brown. Like, why are we?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Can you imagine ICE around the World Cup with people coming to DC or going anywhere, DC, Atlanta, whatever cities that they're having the World Cup. And it's like catching fish in a barrel for the ICE agents to be there and start rounding up illegals.
I think the only reason why FIFA hasn't backed out is because so much of FIFA money has been put into this. There's no way they can. Like, they would probably love to be like, yeah, so no, we're not going to have it here. We're going to choose a country that's safer for, for our players,
for our fans, for our fans.
Who are mostly brown immigrants.
Correct. You got these people that's going to have people are going to have teams from all over the world are coming to the United States of America in 2026 for the World Cup. Is ICE so at the same time, think about it. This is the long game, right? If you want to set up and you want to make a big show, which is all about the show, and you want to have the largest police force in America be ICE, of course you want to have that ready before the World Cup, because it's going to be like catching fish in a barrel. Now, is he smart enough to say he's not going to do that on the world stage? I'm not convinced that he is. I believe that he will, for his what he considers the greater good, he will make a complete spectacle out of that. And the money, the only thing that will keep it from doing that is that he'll be convinced that America will lose too much money. The rich white folks will sit up here and pull him to the side and say, Donald, don't do this shit. No. You're going to cost us way too much money. Don't do this.
A lot of money.
That's the only thing that will keep him from doing this. But he's going to have the numbers up. And when we look at this thing and history looks at this and we look at it and say, how many of those January 6 folks are now wearing ICE uniforms? We don't know. How many of them are out there joining police forces? We don't know. We mentioned, and you were talking about, there were people who were pardoned on the 6th who are now have gotten into shootouts with cops and who are going back to jail. Yes. And so when you look at this stuff, it's wild. This stuff is wild, man. You better believe it, Omar. This stuff is wild, and this is the stuff that we have to really be paying attention to, because the only thing that's going to stop this guy from doing anything is that if he feels like he's not going to, and not even the country, if he feels like he personally is going to lose too much money, he won't do it. Other than that, all bets are off. He'll do whatever in God's name he wants to do.
Yeah, so at least 10 January 6ers, at least. Now, these people have been arrested for hardcore crimes, not been arrested in general. These people have been arrested for hardcore crimes, and at least 3 are dead, ranging anywhere from assault to the Capitol. He was Andrew Tate was rearrested for soliciting a minor. Edward Kelly, he was convicted of charges of plotting to murder FBI agents. Yes, that happened right after.
Right.
Emily Hernandez was sentenced to 10 years in prison for causing drug driving accident in 2022 that killed 1 person. I could go down the list.
Yeah.
And Ashley Babbitt is now getting a military funeral, which is a bag of BS.
We've been doing this for a long time. That's where I was going. You know me so well.
I do. You committed a serious crime. You committed a hardcore crime. Yes, you were not dishonorably discharged from the military. You left with honors, fine. But I feel like any military person, if you leave the army and then murder somebody in cold blood, or you commit a sexual assault, or you get caught with children, you don't get to be buried with your military honors. All that gets wiped out of the window. But
Donald Trump wiped all that away. And by him wiping that trial away, by wiping away her charges, she is getting what she is due, having served in the military. Now, what she wasn't due, or her family was due, was the $5 million that the U.S. government wrote her a check, wrote them a check for. So this is where we are. This
And I
is
hope they
where
have
we
the
are.
military funeral indoors because it's going to get protested. It's not going to be what people are hoping it's going to be, this magical moment of honor for this woman. It's going to be a loud, angry, nasty thing. I mean, if I was her family, I would just say thank you for giving her military honors, but we're not going to rebury her and go through all of that. We're just not going to do it because it's just a hassle. But
Yeah,
let's
it's
switch to
but they're gonna do it, and you continue to watch how all this stuff goes down. All right, let's move. It's slightly bringing some levity to this conversation. Gavin Newsom and his social media team.
I thought you were going to Cracker Barrel. I'll put that down. And we'll go over to Gavin Newsom, who is, I guess, playing Knuck If You Buck in the bathroom when he's getting ready in the morning. Like, I guess
So
he's
for people who are
clearly.
not paying attention, Gavin Newsom is the governor of California, and folks have to understand, if you didn't take civics or you didn't pay attention to civics or government while you were in school, you're getting a crash course every day. The amount of money that the state of California contributes to our economy is better than is more than probably 10 or 12 states in the union. And so now what Gavin Newsom is doing, and I said, do you remember when I said this when Kamala was running? I said Gavin Newsom was next.
Yeah.
But they weren't going to put Gavin Newsom out there to take that bullet that Kamala Harris took. That 120 some days that she had to try to win an election against somebody who has been running a campaign for the last 10 years. And so they weren't going to sacrifice Gavin Newsom. And this is why. Because Gavin Newsom is who they want next. And I don't have a problem with it up to this point. What I know about him and what I know about his career, I'm fine with it at this point. But this is this here. You know, this is some post, I guess, with Donald Trump, who's attacking the Smithsonian Museums, which, oh, by the way, have you ever been to the African American Museum in D.C.?
No, and I'm actually the only person in my family who hasn't been. Everybody else has but me.
So you cannot get through that entire museum in a day.
No.
It's 10 floors. Now, mind you, the Smithsonian, I want to say, has 20 museums of all different types, science and
yes,
whatever.
American history,
American
film
history,
and television,
right?
Yep.
This is all this smoke blowing about how all this slavery is being taught in all these museums is a bunch of bullshit. If you've been to these museums, you know this. If you go to the African American Museum of History and Culture, you know this.
Yeah.
Yes. Is it interwoven? Because absolutely that is a part of the history of who we are in this country.
He doesn't know how museums work. Museums are like books that you walk through. You are telling a story. We're telling the story of African American history. Everybody keeps talking about, well, slavery didn't start in America. Great. We're talking about African American history, meaning us Negroes who ended up here and how we've gone from point A to point B. So the story is slavery, Civil War, Reconstruction, Gilded Age, 1920s boom, Tulsa Race Massacre, Civil Rights. Now, like that, that's how a story is told, and it's you can't history. Leave out slavery,
right?
And be like,
and you can't rewrite slavery, like it didn't happen. And so but it's red meat to people. And obviously, you live in Florida, you haven't made it there yet. I know you have every intention, but there's other people who have absolutely, positively no intentions to ever go into the African American history of museum history and culture. They have no idea. They have no intention. All they're doing is listening to Trump tell them that it's just full of stories about how white people are bad. Well, what's the workout chick who's now the poster child of white people bad, and she's going on CNN acting a slam fool. Can't think of her name right now.
Jillian Michaels.
Jillian Michaels, right? And she's now not liking the fact. I guess a new documentary has come out.
And by the way, she has black children. She adopted black children.
Right, and she's gay. So, and so I look at this thing, and so Gavin Newsom.
Sorry, not to interrupt you. And the reason why I'm interrupting is because we were talking about Newsom trolling Trump and not giving a damn about what Trump has to say. So every time Trump posts something, Gavin Newsom is coming up, not even 5 minutes later. Like he got some Google alert on his phone. It's like, oh, you're here? That. Like Trump posted a picture of himself and was talking about how he's bringing everything back. So then Gavin posted, all hail Chairman Trump with his glorious 10% purchase of Intel Intel, the Socialist Republic of America, enters a bold new era of government-run business. Like, it's a bunch of stuff.
No, it's all over the place. It's the Clapback and his social media team. I heard it's a Hispanic woman who was running his social media team, and the work that they're doing. But in essence, he is basically saying, the gloves are off, man. This is how Trump has gained attention in America by little short messages like this, right? He puts out,
"We broke Donald Trump."
and ultimately, when it comes down to it, it's we love Michelle Obama when they go low, we go high, whatever that quote was that she's famous for.
Yeah, that's the right quote.
And we love Michelle Obama, and she was right to say it. Everybody needs to play their position. Gavin Newsom's position right now is to say, we don't have time to sit up with the niceties right now. They are literally redrawing lines in the middle of a census to gain more seats so that his agenda cannot be derailed for the next 3.5 years. If
Gavin's slogan is, "When you go low, I'm going to hell." I'm going straight to hell.
Right. It's because it's really at that point now where you have to grab the attention of the average American person, because what used to be this if the Republicans are over here, and the Democrats are over here, and independents were this small, say 10 years ago, that middle ground has really swelled.
Yeah.
And there are people, it ain't just old people, right? We used to think it was just old curmudgeon people who were sitting back and they were thinking like this. And I'll never forget when I was getting, 30 years ago or more, when I was, would go to DMV to fix my license in Virginia. There would always be somebody standing out front with a leaflet trying to sell me libertarianism. And I'd be like, man, get out of my way. I'm going to get my license taken care of.
What move?
Get out of my way. Now, those people are running the country.
Yeah.
Those clowns are running the country. You've got, I was talking to a friend of mine who works at the CDC the other day. We had a good conversation. And he was talking about how last week was so hard for them at the CDC, which is based right here in Atlanta, because of everything that's going on. About the CDC director had a job briefing, and they ran him out, and these people aren't trying to be activists, huh?
The assistant director, she left too. She was like, I'm not going to keep doing this with y'all. I'm not going to keep.
Right. These people are not trying to be activists.
Crazy stuff that's making me uncomfortable, and I got to go. I can't do it. So.
Right. So that's where we are. The simplest of things that you expect them to let scientists be scientists. There's nothing that this administration is allowing people to sit back and do their jobs. I don't care if you're a scientist. I don't care if you are parks and trying to, you out here just watching trees and trying to keep people from burning down trees, and they firing them people.
Because remember, that was their first thing when they were trying to cut back on government spending and firing all the park rangers who they were like, we have real jobs. We're not just giving tours to people.
All 10 of them. It's like 10 park rangers. It's like 10 park rangers in all the Yellowstone Park. And I know I'm exaggerating, but the point is that ain't making no difference. Why you spending $200 million to build a ballroom at the White House
and putting gold fixtures on everything. Like, we not gonna notice that the White House had a purely white mantle with a bust of Thomas Jefferson on it or somebody, and now it's got a giant gold bald eagle and gold fixtures all over this fireplace. It's gross. It's gross what he's doing. But can we add some levity now? You want to go into Hun What? You want to wait? I got like 3 Hun What.
Well, do you want to make this a Hun What? Let's make it a Hun What.
Cracker Barrel?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's make it a Hun What. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here at Hun What. Do you want to share my screen? I'm just going to go ahead and hit the share button so you guys can see what I got pulled up.
Your screen is not shared yet. You share your screen and I got you.
All right, people. So on Monday of last week, Cracker Barrel revealed their new logo. Just going to go ahead and pull up real quick so you can see what the new logo is, or what it was, and what the old logo was. So this is the new logo. It just has Cracker Barrel with a trademark symbol in this nice little shape. And this is the old logo, Cracker Barrel with the whip around it. This is a whip. It's actually got a rope texture with an old white man cracker sitting next to an actual barrel. It's very literal. With
I never even noticed that was a whip. I never noticed that.
Oh yeah, that's rope. That was rope. You can see it in like older, like this one down here has it. You can see it a little bit better. If I can pull it up. Oh, that one doesn't have it either. But it actually it's braided. Anyway, I don't care. I have been going to Cracker Barrel since I was little. Every time we went on a road trip, we went to Cracker Barrel. So they revealed their new logo, and MAGA country lost their minds. One, because the new CEO of Cracker Barrel is a lesbian woman. And she kind of made it seem like, oh, we're in the new era of Cracker Barrel and da da da. And people were really upset about this. And people started equating it to, we're taking the history out of Cracker Barrel. We're taking the old time feel out of Cracker Barrel. Just say what it means. We're taking the slavery out of Cracker Barrel. And as a Black person who goes to Cracker Barrel, whose mom, my mother, Blanche Gady, Mama Blanche, goes to Cracker Barrel every week. Yes, she does. Nobody Black cared about this. This wasn't like something that was offensive to us.
You know why? Because of those, because of the hash brown casserole and the doggone pancakes, right?
Yeah.
And
exactly why.
Right. And so, I listened to this garbage, and I haven't been to Cracker Barrel in years, and it wasn't even an active boycott. It was just kind of like. It was, I know much better breakfast spots in my community. And now on road trips, and now on road trips is Buc-ee's. So I don't have to stop at Cracker Barrel. I have no reason to go to Cracker Barrel. I don't order it as Cracker Barrel and the other one, IHOP. Their food tastes like oppression. It just is, there's no not nail pepper flake that is on any of this food. You have to season it yourself, right? No sugar in the pancakes when you get them from IHOP, right? So when they made this huge deal about this, I said to myself,
and it was a big deal. It was a huge trending, people making think pieces. Brandon Donaldson, whatever his name is, or Byron,
yeah, whatever.
Telling his story about his conversion therapy.
He converted to Christianity in the parking lot at Cracker Barrel. If that ain't the biggest piece of grift. And I said to myself, like, wow. But then you say, when it was all said and done, the announcement was made that they would go back to the logo when Donald Trump comes out and he makes a statement about it.
And he made a statement, and they lost 15% of their. Well, he made a statement that it should go back to the old logo, and they lost 15% of their stock. Like their stock started to tank. They've
been losing it for 5 years. So
Cracker Barrel is dry. You know what they did to try to bring their stock back up, and this is the worst place to do it. A lot of breakfast places, and you probably noticed this, are adding beer, wine, and alcohol to their menu. So Cracker Barrel a couple years ago added a cocktail list, so you can get a Bloody Mary at Cracker Barrel. You can get like a mimosa, whatever.
Is the oldest. That is the biggest when I used to be a bartender, that's what all my old clients would come in, and that's what they would get. And they wanted the Bloody Mary, and they wanted that stalk of celery in there. That is such an old person's drink. I'm pretty sure they had gin and tonic on their list too, huh? Probably.
No, not gin and tonic. It's gin and something else. But it's all trying to bring in a younger audience. But let me tell y'all something.
If you want to bring in young people, bringing in Bloody Marys ain't it. But go ahead.
No. But also, Cracker Barrel, I'm not going in Cracker Barrel to be with like-minded people. Why am I going in? Because my mama and my auntie was like, Nakia, come meet us down here with the babies down at the Cracker Barrel. We about to get some breakfast. Okay, Bob. Or we're on a road trip. Where do you guys want to stop? Cracker Barrel. I'm not actively seeking, even I live in the Villages area. They go to Cracker Barrel. It's an old people thing. Old people are keeping them open. My Aunt Betty is keeping them open.
Here's the thing, folks. Let them have it. Lord Jesus. Let them have it. We don't need to beat down Cracker Barrel's door to save Cracker Barrel, right? We've seen what's happening in the larger scale with the Targets of the world. If they want to have Cracker Barrel, have at it, buddy.
Now let's put in our marketing brains. There's a way they could have made the logo modern and not kicked off the white man in the barrel. What they could have done is, one, do what they did. Remember what they did to Aunt Jemima when they gave her ultra perm and put it on some red lipstick? They could have put this man in some khakis and a polo shirt, straightened up his back a little bit, put him inside of the actual new logo shape, made him a little smaller. You got your Cracker Barrel, you got your modernization, and everybody's happy.
They could have still used they could have done it, but they didn't realize that this was not on their radar, that people really cared about it this much, right?
They don't.
And they made a mistake. If I can find it before the show, there was a guy who did. I thought it was brilliant what he did. He just kind of laid out the whole deal with the modernization of all of these logos and why they do it is because, as we know, putting our marketing and business brains on, McDonald's is much more of a real estate company than it is a burger joint because of all the real estate that they own. Same thing with Walmart. Same thing with a Cracker Barrel, right?
Scientology. Just like Scientology.
So in essence, what they're doing is they're flipping how these, and the guy, I wish I could find it right now, but the guy broke it down and said, the reason why all these buildings are becoming so sterile looking is because if it doesn't work, they want to be able to rip that logo off of that building, sell it to somebody else, and they can jump in there like a square box and move along, right? He was like, you know, if all of a sudden you're trying to sell vapes out of an old Pizza Hut, everybody's gonna be saying that's the vape shot that's in the old Pizza Hut because of course it's got the tin, and you know, and so it was right. A brilliant breakdown.
I was looking on TikTok and they showed how restaurants used to look. Remember, it's been a long time. Wendy's back in the day had that indoor patio with all the glass where you could kind of go sit indoor, outdoor. Remember that?
I don't remember that. I wasn't a big Wendy's person, but go ahead. Go on.
Anyway, that's fine.
But you make your point. You're exactly right. Finish your point.
But you're right. Now there is like real estate. So if someone leaves the McDonald's or the Taco Bell, because they all look the same,
correct,
then your mom and pop catering company
can pop right in there, and the kitchen is there, and they can put their logo on there, and they can keep it moving. Absolutely.
Your Peruvian restaurant can move in there.
Absolutely. And so when this thing all went down with Cracker Barrel, you know, what it proved was that there's power in community. That's the part. We want to laugh this stuff off, right? What has happened, if you guys don't understand it and you still don't get it, MAGA is a community that continues to change damn near everything we're doing, right? And so then it made me kind of go back and do it. And I'll do I'm going to be doing a webinar or something on this. But then I started looking, I said, what are black folks, the richest black folks in the world? What businesses are they in? And there's only one person who is in the top 20 in the world who's in the food business. Everyone else is in communications. They're in technology. They're in finance. You're going to make me pull it up. They don't have it in front of me right now. It's a guy named...
Because old boy from Godfather's Pizza, he died. He died of COVID.
I'm talking about... Yeah, no, he's not in. I'm talking about the richest. I ain't talking about the little bit rich. I'm talking about the rich. I'm talking about Janice Howard. I'm talking about my man out in Missouri who's in the technology space. You're gonna make me pull it up now. I'm gonna pull it so as we're talking. But the point I'm making is that when you start to look at what really makes a difference, black folks don't have controlling interest in the things that we mostly consume, and that's part of the challenge that we have. The guy's name is, matter of fact, I'm pulling the list up now. All right, so Thompson is his name, who I'm talking about, and he is Thompson Hospitality. He's in the food service business. He's on that list. When I look at our list, Worldwide Technologies, IT Systems, which is what is his name? David Stewart is his name. You've got Vista Equity Partners, private equity. That's Robert Smith. That's the Robert Smith who paid off a whole year's worth of a whole graduating class of Morehouse College, right? Piston Group, and that's the microwave. Vinnie Johnson. You're too young to probably remember who I'm talking about, but he played with the Detroit Pistons, and now he has a huge company in the automotive manufacturing space. So we're in IT, we're in private investment. But the point is that in the world, and this is U.S., Africa, and the Caribbean, there's about 20 really, really super successful black folk. What businesses are they in? IT, private equity, automotive manufacturing, staffing, There's one black woman, I believe, and that is Janice Bryant Howard, who owns Act One Group. And so, why do I bring this up in this Cracker Barrel conversation? I bring it up because black folks are screaming about, I'm still going to Cracker Barrel. I don't give a doggone, blah, 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 blah. You're not going to take my pancakes away from me. But here's the thing. If them white folks decide, them MAGA folks decide that they don't like something, they activate. They activate. And now with their leader where their leader is, he makes stuff happen. And here's the thing. And it's wild. It's wild. It is. But that's the reason why a lot of these folks that we look at and we wonder, why these black conservatives, why these people running, and why they like to hang out with the Trumps of the world and these people in that space, because they feel like it's their means to get control. And from my perspective, I think it's like, okay, hanging out with black folks and gaining wealth, yeah, you can, but the type of wealth that is happening in that space is a whole different conversation. And Isaac Hayes III has been having this conversation in social media, stuff like that. But go ahead, jump in. I said a lot.
So I have another what? I don't know if did you see what happened with the CEO who snatched the hat away from the poor little kid at the tennis match?
All of that, and you just had no rebuttal, no response.
We have to move on. We got it's here. Can you just pull this up, please?
Is it on your screen?
I remember audio doesn't work from my side, so go ahead and pull that up.
Hold on. I did not open. I did not see this. Oh, you sending me X stuff? You know I'm not on X, girl.
Is it not gonna pull up?
Firm now facing negative online reviews. Viral video footage revealed the moments after Polish player Kamil Majchrzak went to the crowd after the biggest win of his career. The 29-year-old defeated 9th seed Karen Khachanov in a marathon 5-set thriller on Thursday, and then was filmed removing his cap and trying to hand it to a child in the crowd on court 11. But in ugly scenes, a man standing next to the boy reached out, grabbed the cap, and stuffed it into his bag. That left the youngster looking crestfallen and asking, "What are you doing?" as Majchrzak walked away, unaware of what had just happened. Now, there has been a rising backlash against the hat grabber, and there appeared online a lengthy statement in his defense by someone purporting to be the businessman's lawyer, yet that was later deleted, with the legal official telling people he had been misrepresented. The clip of the hat snatch has sparked fury online with...
So in essence, this clown decided he wanted to take a hat from a kid that was signed by a professional tennis player.
So here's the funny thing. There are two separate apologies. Two separate comments. His first comment after this happened was the kid should have been faster. Like, that's why he didn't get the hat. If he was faster, he would have gotten it. And when the company stock started falling and people were calling him out, he got doxxed. His wife got doxxed. He came out with a separate apology today saying, I would like to unequivocally apologize to the boy who was harmed by this, his family, as well as his fans and the player himself. I made a serious mistake. You didn't think that right after this happened. Like, I want to find his original apology, because his original apology was like some evil scientist type of supervillain. Yes.
Yeah, these people are running around as certified supervillains, and they're walking around in the streets. And these folks don't give a doggone about civility or any of that anymore. For what? The penalties are not high enough for these people to be civil. They just looking at this stuff like, man, I can do whatever I want. I'm gonna snatch some stuff from a kid. All right.
Wait, I just want to read his original statement. Yes, I took it. Yes, I did it in a rush, but as always, first come, first serves in life. Why don't you just go shoot some babies? Like, what is your problem, dude? Why would you say that?
I really want to see if he has a punchable face. He sounds like he has a punchable face.
He spells Peter Piotr. So that says it all.
Is he foreign? Where is he from? Is he from somewhere else?
Poland.
Okay, well, maybe that's how they spell Peter in Poland.
So
but does he have a punchable? The question is, does he have a punchable face?
He has a punchable face. I wanted to go into the whole tennis drama, but we only have a few minutes left, and I feel like Superman is more important. Miguel hated Superman, so now we all have to tell Miguel that he's dumb and that he's wrong.
Okay, so it's my topic. It's my topic. And so now, it's all over. It's all over my feed. All these folks on. Am I on Threads over here? I am on Threads. And so here's the thing. I saw Superman, and if you want to follow me on Threads, this conversation is still going on Threads as we speak. And so I saw Superman tonight with one of my girls. It was so bad, DC just can't get it right.
That's not true.
And so this is the thread that's going on about this conversation. Here's the thing about how I feel about this stuff, right? I am not a comic book person. I almost said comic book nerd. Yeah, I'll just say it. I'm not a comic book nerd. I go to this stuff. Only reason I went because Michelle said, "Hey, Dad, can we go see Superman?" I was like, "Sure, why not?" And so I get there and I forget about. I can't remember the last DC Comics movie that I thought was good. I'm trying to recall. I can't remember any. Superman. Talk about punchable faces. Superman gets beat up 90% of this movie.
That's what my mom didn't like. My mom was just saying, "Why is he always getting hit? It's not supposed to be like that." Like,
we grew up where Superman was the toughest of the tough. He got his behind whooped most of this movie. And not just by, I'm not going to ruin it for people who haven't seen it yet.
If you haven't seen it, that's your personal problem. Go ahead and say it.
Not by the clone of himself. He wasn't just beat up by the clone of himself. He was beat up by the girl who had the little black tar to put on him and got all in his face and in his hair. And then they came, the beginning of the movie was him getting beat up and being saved by a dog. That was the beginning of the movie. And so then, with that being said, the Green Lantern character sucked.
He was supposed to be like that, though. He was supposed to be like that.
And that's what I hear.
But do you know why they did that?
I do not care, but go ahead. Tell me why.
Important.
Tell me why.
So Green Lantern, the movie with Ryan Reynolds, was so bad that they didn't even want to have anything related to it. So they wanted to go so far from that they made Nathan Fillion like, okay, you're a complete goofball, jerk off, jackbutt that nobody likes, and that's how you're going to play it. And they were supposed to be not so much comic relief, but just corporate superheroes. Because that's what we were trying to make. Remember they went to that stupid building and it was like Justice Corp or Justice whatever.
That is the most. So here's the thing. I want people to understand. I'm coming to you from the perspective of a kid who was born in the 70s, who grew up watching cartoons in the 80s.
Yes.
The only thing that reminded me of my childhood was that building you were getting ready to crap on. Because Justice League, the building, the cartoon looked exactly like that building. Here's the thing about this era of Marvel and DC and all that. It's to get 2 to 4 tickets to come to the movie. It's to make sure that I can relate to what I see on the screen because I was a kid when this first came out, and now you introduce new characters to our children, right? That's part of the thing. That was it. That's the only thing in that movie that made me be like, oh, Justice League, which was Batman and Wonder Woman and Green Lantern and all of that.
I had with it. Like, y'all just can't put new people in Justice League. Like, y'all just can't add Hawk Girl and, well, the Green Lantern was always in it, but
yeah, and so was Hawk Girl, and so was Hawk. They were a part of it, but they were not like the main characters. They was over here. They was like over to the side, and so Hawk Girl, her scream was annoying. It was like the Mr. What is it, Mr. Incredible, the brother who had to make this. Is his name Mr. Incredible? I think his name was, or Mr. Whatever.
Mr. Incredible.
His character was decent, but think about it. He stood on. He was a hero. He showed his toughness. He didn't even go and stop the war over in the Middle East. He won one fight at the end.
I think what we're trying to do is they are now once again rebuilding Superman. And there were some issues I feel like with the storyline. Mm-hmm. For example, them making his Krypton parents evil or whatever that was supposed to be.
Right.
What I definitely wasn't a fan of that. That was not.
Was that in the comics? I'm not. Somebody tell me. Was that originally in the comics? I don't read it.
It might have been. I don't ever remember reading that. His cousin being there, that had always been in the comics, that they were sent there together. Like she was supposed to protect him, so that was normal. I don't know where that dog came from. The dog was
But
weird,
evidently the Supergirl has been on CW or some of these off-brand networks for years. So I'm assuming, I don't know, was that an Easter egg? Because they have
and she was in the Flash movie.
You see why it sucked? Can we admit now that it sucked?
I didn't think that it sucked. I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed them going back to the old costume. I enjoyed all of that. I enjoyed them making it more fun and relatable and a little lighter, because when you think about it, Superman and Justice League and Batman versus Superman got real dark, and there was no light at the end of the tunnel or joy in those movies, and that was what Superman was about, was light and joy and being proud of yourself and being happy. Did Justice League leave you feeling happy? Did the last couple Supermans make you feel happy? The costume got all dark and weird. Oh, and they made this. Now, my mom was mad that they made his parents country bumpkins who don't know nothing about nothing. That was so unnecessary.
So very direct question. What was the best part about this movie?
The best part about this movie was that Superman actually looked like Superman. That he looked like original Superman. He looks like original Superman. Did he not?
It's not hard. It's a white dude with dark hair. Is in good shape. That's.
Well, just think about the past couple Supermans. They didn't look as.
Who played Super? Here's the thing. This DC has to me blundered this so bad. If it says DC, I'm not expecting much of nothing from, because with that Batman Superman with Ben Affleck playing Batman and him with the gruffly, wasn't Ben Affleck playing Batman when he had the gruffly voice?
He did the last 3 Batmans.
Was it DC Comics when Dark Knight, when it was Dark Knight, when Dark Knight to me was the best last Batman? When Dark Knight, I remember who played Dark, but I thought that was great when he was fighting the guy that had the mask on his face, and that was, to me, the Dark Knight. That was dope. Thought those two.
There's been a lot of people who played Batman. Did you know Nicolas Cage played Batman?
Yes, a long time ago, maybe early 90s.
In the Flash, he played. But Christopher Reeves played Batman. Cavill.
Hold on. How did Christopher Reeves play Batman? Christopher Reeves played Superman.
Sorry, Superman. Sorry.
Okay.
Nicolas Cage played Superman in The Flash in the 2023
No, I don't remember
film.
Nicolas Cage ever playing Superman. You got me there.
So Henry Cavill, George Reeves, and Christopher Reeves have all played some version of Superman. Who else has played him? There's been one more person who played him, and then that person got cut immediately after they played him one time. But anyway, we can go through this. I didn't mind the movie. I thought the movie was fine. I enjoyed it. I can see why people didn't like it.
Is this real?
Yes, that is from when he played Superman in The Flash.
That is terrible.
Because The Flash was not that great. It was okay. It was good, but it wasn't that great. Did you? And you still haven't seen Fantastic Four?
No. Was that DC as well?
No, Fantastic Four is Marvel.
And that's the other thing. All this.
You hated Thunderbolts.
I have not watched Thunderbolts. I tried it. It's funny you say that. I started it like Saturday. And we already into our final segment, which is what are you watching, right? I started Thunderbolts sometime during the course of this weekend. I got 10 or 15 minutes into it. I'm like, this is not grabbing me. And Michelle was like, Dad, it gets better. It gets better. So I may try to finish it at some point.
We liked it. I like the story. I like the fact that all these people that in either the series or the movie had gotten kind of like thrown off as villains or cast offs, they now brought them back as a group. Like Ava from, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and the evil Captain America from the TV show Winter Soldier and Captain America. He comes back. It's all these people.
It's a bunch of goofballs.
Well, goofballs and kind of are bad. They're bad people. they're bad people.
I like the girl who plays the Russian girl who's the sister of Black Widow.
Who's the sister of Black Widow?
Yeah. I like her character. Her character's entertaining. She kicks butt and she's entertaining. So let me tell you what we've been watching. What we just finished, and it's a little bit. It's C. So C, and because it's Apple TV, which is making amazing television right now. They're really doing
Y'all are
great
just
series.
not watching C. Didn't that come out a while ago?
It did.
Oh, okay.
It was so C was Jason Momoa.
Yep.
And he plays in a role as a warrior post annihilation of the world. And somehow the people, when they annihilated most of the population of the world, they made everybody blind. And so the witches, the ones who everyone fears, are the people who can see. And so Jason Momoa is playing this warrior. I think it was extremely well done. The story was well told. The villain character, which is a queen who reminds me of a knockoff from the queen from Game of Thrones. She was like that. If you can follow the through line there. But I thought it was very well done. It was 3 seasons. The young lady who played his daughter actually played in another series. There was a story about a sister by the name of Kimba, what's Kimba's last name? Anyway, Kimba was a student at Hampton University who ended up going to prison because she was in a relationship with a drug dealer back home in Virginia. And the girl who played Kimba in that role was in this as a role. It was really good. So
he's also in a new series called The Chief. I think it's called The Chief, and that's supposed to be good as well.
Chief of War, something like that. I think
Chief
it's
of
also
War, yes.
I think it's also on Apple TV. I think Trey is watching it. I have not picked it up. I may try to catch up. But he's really good at those type of warrior type of physical type of roles.
He's a good actor. I feel like he's a really good, well-rounded actor. I don't know if you saw Minecraft or not, but he can go to that goofy, silly role really quickly and then back to serious. And he was also in Fast and Furious, where he was very, very scary and funny and creepy all at the same time. So yeah, I tried to watch Smoke with Johnny Smollett, but then I realized what the story was. I remember what real story it was based off of. I was like, I'm not sitting through this because I already know what happens. Like, I'm cool.
Oh, that was based off of a real story?
Yeah, it was based off a real story, a real police chief in California who was setting fires through the 80s. This happened in the 80s and I think like the early 90s. He was setting fires and they could never catch him until they matched up the list of conferences that were happening in the same city that the fires were happening. He got caught, and that's what this is based off of. But Journey Smollett is a good actress. I think it's fine, but I'm not sitting through a story that I already know.
So you have Apple TV, because that's on Apple TV.
Yes,
right?
Apple TV.
Okay.
We have Apple TV.
Okay. Yeah, we watched that. We finished it. I thought the ending was
dumb.
So you did finish it?
No, I didn't, but I know how I watched the ending part on YouTube. I was like, how does this end? This seems stupid. Where they're just sitting in the interrogation room and they show him that he's fat. Like, it just seemed dumb. Like, nothing was resolved.
No, nothing was resolved. The way it ended, Trey and I looked at each other like, that's it? Like, just not Jesse Smollett, because that's her sister. That's the brother. That's the brother who has a new documentary out that I have not watched.
That bullshit documentary.
I'm not seeing it. No. Journey Smollett is a good actress. She's in her lane. I'm just not sure quite what that lane is. Because she's done this. I thought the best work I thought she did was Lovecraft Country. I think she did a really, really amazing job in Lovecraft Country.
She was great in Lovecraft Country. So what I'm watching, I watched a Jesse Smollett documentary, and if you would like to be more confused about his whole situation, then watch it. Doesn't exonerate him, but doesn't make it worse. So there's that. Okay. And then you and Trey have to watch a new documentary because you guys have teenage girls, soon to be preteens. It's called Unknown Number: The High School Catfishing Story. That is the craziest documentary I've ever watched. Like, I
saw somebody post about that today, and it immediately jumped on my list because of that exact same reason, because Michelle is now in high school.
When they revealed the whole situation, I was like, oh, I know y'all got to be kidding me. And then I looked it up for the news to see, is this like a joke? And it's a real story that really happened. And it's a really good doc, and woo. So yeah.
Right. Well,
that's everything, gentlemen.
Huh?
That's everything.
All right. Looking for my clothes. I'm just going to have to do it manually. Peace and a bye-bye.